Okay, so let's take it back there. So very quickly, because I'm thinking, Rat Pack, DJ Cy, Mickey Finn. I'm thinking
My
all these OGs. Did you used to jump up with them and just chuck the instrument on? Let's just get this going. Did you?
Yeah,
Really?
absolutely. The Rat Pack. That's who's that? I forget the name. Mark and
Mark and
he's got a strange name.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
makes me laugh. They make me laugh so much. I've done a few gigs with them, and funnily enough, when I do gigs with the Rat Pack, it actually takes me back to the rave scene because they're doing the real underground club scenes.
Yeah.
And so it's strange for me because now I'm doing festivals and it's a totally different light.
Yeah.
So when I do gigs with the Rat Pack, it takes me sort of back into the early 90s because it's really underground, hardcore, and everybody's free to feel good. And those guys, I've been good friends with them for years.
Yeah, yeah.
Top guys.
I don't doubt that for a
guys.
second.
Yeah.
And so what happens? And so, all right, boys, quick it. Here's the CD. Let me know when you want me to come on. That kind of vibe?
Yes.
Please tell me. Well, that's amazing. So they must be in the back of their head, or anybody was like, yeah, Rosalla's here, wicked, just put that CD on, let's absolutely have it.
Exactly.
We've got this one. Right?
I did a couple of gigs with them earlier this year. It was sort of like that. And Mark is just hysterical. I can't remember the other guy's name for the life of me. He cracks me up. But top guys. Really
amazing.
Top guys.
Alternate. That was another one.
Yeah,
Alternate.
yeah.
Was there moments within that time period, like Prodigy drop experience or something, and that you felt a shift of attention even more? Was it like an organism that was, you felt the tremors?
Yeah, absolutely.
Rozalla,
hello.
how are we?
Wonderful.
It's fantastic having you here. Long friend and one hell of a journey lady,
Big time.
Yeah.
Big time.
One of the first things that I wanted to ask you is energy. You seem to exude everything within we'll fix it, it's positive, no problems. It's inherent in you, and I find it so intriguing that you're a lady of progress.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Wow. I've been told that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been told that, and I think, at the end of the day, I read somewhere or heard somewhere, we're all visitors on this earth. So let's give it our best shot.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Why not? So I've had so many setbacks. I've had good things that have happened to me, just like anyone in life. So, I just want to keep putting one foot in front of the other and grabbing those opportunities and living my life. I have a zest for living and just doing my best.
When that is enveloped in work ethic, now you're here.
Yeah.
You're here, for every good reason and more, street culture.
Yeah.
But applying that energy so that your momentum continues, there isn't anything too anxious about the things you're faced with doing, and the rapid response and, independent artistry.
Yeah.
That kind of falls hand in hand, doesn't it? I mean, how does your work ethic, how do you stay on momentum?
I love what I do. There's times when I've, going back many years ago, I was signed to one of the biggest labels called Sony.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought, my gosh, wow, that's it.
Yeah.
I've reached my Mount Everest here, supported Michael Jackson, wow,
Yeah.
And then suddenly, untold to me, I don't know, I was dropped from the label.
Mm-hmm. Parted ways.
Parted ways.
Parted ways.
Yeah, and I remember thinking, when I signed the contract with them, it was like a novel. It was this. Seriously, I wish I kept it. I cannot find it for the life of me. And every album, the money went up, and I thought, gosh, I want to be quite loaded.
Yeah. There's money on this, right?
There's money on there. But sadly, it wasn't meant to be. And, I was released from the label because either I didn't sell enough albums and stuff like that. I was lucky if I got to do one club date in a period of 2 months. Everything just started going that side.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know, and I thought, wow, is this the end of my career? You know, it was so scary, you know, but when I look back, that's when I met my husband. You know, everything happens for a reason.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's when I met my husband. I got the opportunity to be in a relationship and get to spend time with him. And I took up a beauty therapy course.
Fantastic.
Want a massage? Just let me know.
Yo.
But and
We got rooms in this building.
I know, yeah, it's true. I've seen them. But, you know, I did things like that because I thought, you know, I don't want to be facing a wall and not have anywhere to go. And I remember my husband at the time said to me, look, if you never had another hit single forever, will that be the end of your world? Because what's most important to you in your life? And I thought, what's most important to me in my life is my health and my family and my friends who love me. That's everything. Everything else is gravy.
It pulls it into perspective, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Rare case that anybody, not only sustains, which you have, but also reaches that highest mountain at a young age, and you can see everything.
Absolutely. It was incredible. You know, my husband said to me the other day, you should write a book.
Yeah.
But honestly, within myself, I just think, who's going to read that book? It's going to be so boring. That's within myself. But, you know, I came here from Africa. You know, I started traveling to the UK late 1988 just to try my luck.
Wow.
To be a superstar.
So your family were always based in Africa? Like, did they come over eventually?
No, we Africans.
Really?
Born and bred in Africa.
That's incredible.
Yeah, my mom still lives. I was born in Zambia. My father was Zimbabwean, and then we moved to Zimbabwe. So my mom and some of my family members live in Zimbabwe, and the majority of my relatives live in Zambia. Never ever came to England, nothing, and I just felt, you know, as a singer, I'd gone as far as I could in Zimbabwe and Zambia, and so I thought, I want to be an international singer. You know, I loved Aretha Franklin, Diana Ross, and I wanted to be them. You know, and it just so happened to be that when I was in Zimbabwe, there was a talent contest going, and I joined it, and I won all of them.
Wow.
Which are like, wow, okay. And the contract was a recording contract with the local record company. So I began recording my own original material. And, you know, Grammar Records, they were called, saw my potential. And I met some producer that had just come down to Zimbabwe on holiday. And he's like, I own a studio in Wolverhampton. You want to come down and record? I'm like, yes, you know. So we had a meeting with Grammar Records, and they're like, okay, we believe in Rozalla. And they bought me my first 3 or 4 air tickets to start traveling to the UK.
See, it's what you make it, right? It is what you make it.
Yeah, exactly. And I thought, wow, okay. You know, at the time I didn't need visas to come to the UK. And, you know, it's something I could never otherwise have afforded to do. I didn't have any money.
What did your parents say? They must have been sitting at home thinking, she's doing all right. She's doing all right.
My dad was my biggest fan. My mom was my fan as well, but she was so scared I'd get involved in sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Yeah.
You know, this music.
Cliches.
The cliche, and she was terrified. But she was a fan, and she believed in me. And I'm like, you know, Mom, you got to trust me. I'm really hungry for this. I really want to do this. Then I came to the UK and went to Wolverhampton, and fortunately they put me up there. We started recording this album, my first album, proper album, which is called Spirit of Africa.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, so what date was that?
That was late 1988.
88.
Yeah.
So pre-rave.
Totally. Completely. Wow. And we released this album in the southern region of Africa. But the whole plan behind it was, which is what we did, was to send it round to labels to try and get me a record deal.
That's one hell of a task back in the day.
Yeah, it was something else. And I remember, I think it was Arista. I remember that name because that's who Whitney Houston was signed to, right? And I just thought, Arista. And they wrote a letter saying, we love her voice, we're interested. You know, it was like the Monday, and I'm like, I could have a record deal here. Within that same week, I think, or it was very, very much soon after, sorry, we're really not interested. You know, so I went through a lot of that. You know, I'm like, so the guys at the time were like, yep, now you're finding out what a cutthroat industry this is, but keep on. But funnily enough, it just grew my appetite. I just got more hungry to want to really, you know, become this international singer.
So what were the steps after, you know, because knockbacks aside, so you, how did you regroup and what was the plan?
The plan was to try and get a record deal, you know, and
Like PA showcases and things like that?
well, at the time, because I didn't have a work permit
Right.
in the UK, I was doing secret,
Covert.
yeah, exactly,
See?
going underground and
We'll keep it
performing-
between us, all right?
Yeah, please, going underground and doing these club dates and trying to get my name out there and singing songs from the Spirit of Africa album. And then that album or some of the songs fell on the laps of Tim and Nigel, who were known as the Band of Gypsies at the time.
Okay.
And they were like, we love your voice. We'd love to meet you. I'm like, why not? And they were based in the famous Denmark Street.
That's right, just down the road here.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, wow, okay, let's go and check it out. And we went. I met with Tim and Nigel, and they're like, we love your voice, you know. We'd love to work with you. What style of music do you want to do? I'm like, look, I'm African. I want to feel, you know, sounds that got a strong bass line and drums.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and I want songs that are positively uplifting with positive lyrics. So lo and behold, one of the songs, as you know, which is my biggest hit up to date, was born out of that.
Now you come to mention it,
yeah.
there was this one song.
Yeah, I know, just that one little song that, you know. That,
name escapes me.
I think it's called Everybody's Free to Feel Good.
Everybody's free to feel good. We'll come back to that in a bit. But overall, it felt like you were at the right place at the right time. It was almost like, here comes the wave, get your surfboard.
Yeah.
The genre of rave, well, it was just it was Eurodance, and perpetuated by Snap and all these other amazing acts. I love the genre.
Yeah.
It was just so timely.
Yeah.
For something like that, particularly for vocalists like yourself.
Yeah.
That just acted as a springboard, didn't
Yeah.
it?
Oh, absolutely. At the time, you couldn't see it. When it's all happening, you can't see it. You just, for me anyway, I was so hungry for it. When I look back now, you know, time and place, it was for me, you know, and got this album out, the way it all happened. I went out and started promoting Faith in the Power of Love. And that's a song we thought was going to be the big hit.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
and it was a great hit in its own right.
Yeah, I think so. I think it was. And it went like top 75.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know, and that's, you know, I was doing the club dates, and that's when I legally got the work permit to be doing the club dates. So, you know, but it only went top 75. And I'm going, why? Because it's such a great song. And I was so disappointed. But equally, the fact that I even got into a British chart at 75, I couldn't believe it. And the people behind me were so like my backbone. Don't worry, we keep on throwing mud. And wherever it sticks, we just grab it, you know. That comes from my husband, by the way. And so we released Everybody's Free to Feel Good, and the rest is history.
Stepping back to you getting your visa, because that in itself is a lot of moving parts.
Yeah.
If you're on the cusp of doing, I don't know, a PA showcase for, you know, Sony marketing,
Yeah.
or something like that, and they're going to announce it all across their networks,
Yeah.
and how exciting that, and you're, you know, in the pits thinking, oh man, like, where's this visa going? Like,
Yeah, it's scary. It's scary, you know, and those visas were short term because I got those visas before I signed to Sony.
Yeah.
So they'd only last short term. And at the time I was with a record label called Pulse 8.
Right.
Who have since, you know, they're no longer happening. And of course they also did quite a few artists
All the
wrong,
best ones fold, yeah.
you know. And anyway, so I went on to Sony, and that's when I got the long work permit, because the argument was I was creating jobs for British people.
You hear that? Huh? That's a
I
pretty
wasn't,
face.
yeah, I wasn't, well, I wasn't taking work away. I was giving, I was
Adding
creating.
value. That's right.
So that's how I got that.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, how do I get this? How do I get this permit? And blah blah blah. Do I have to marry somebody and get all these things, which happens, But fortunately, that didn't happen, and that's how I got that.
So your influences of its time did it work in accordance to what was going on out on the street? Like we had a chat before, and you mentioned George Michael and performing with him, Michael Jackson, as mentioned. But then there was Covent Garden, the breakdancing, and there was a really big movement. Shows like The Word, which kind of collectively brought all of those genres together. Did you feel like you were a part of that?
Not really. I mean, that was all sort of that opened up to me when I first came to the UK. Mm-hmm. So all that was new to me. All that was in my head was, I want to be a singer. I want to be a big star. I want to go out and sing for people and make people feel happy and wear the glitter outfits, and I want to sing songs that'll make people feel that wherever they are, they can either tap their feet, clap their hands, or get up and dance and feel good, about themselves. And everything else came into the mix of that.
The genre itself, it had its own culture, its own lane. The illegal side to the legal side, the big festivals, and once you got like a number one hit in that genre, everyone, it was the era of, drugs, love, and having fun.
Yeah, I mean, at the time, going back to the early 90s when everybody's really feel good broke, I remember I woke up one morning and I can't remember which newspaper it was, and they hailed me as the Queen of Rave.
Wow, yeah. Well, good. Hold that crown. Yeah,
Hallelujah.
real talk.
Hello, subjects.
Yes, real talk.
But I'm like, wow, and that name has stuck. Rozalla, the Queen of Rave. I never set out to do rave music. I never set out to do any music with a title, just music, just dance music, and I was so happy, and I was going out and doing these rave scenes in the middle of a field. I don't know how people even found their way to get there, because at the time there were no, mobile phones, there was no ways or how to get there. I don't know how they did that, and I was performing in these fields in festivals that had anywhere between 5,000 to 10,000 people.
That is, it's unthinkable now.
It was unbelievable, and a lot of them were drinking water, and I used to wonder, why are they drinking water?
Yeah.
Only to find out there was also a big drug scene.
Yeah.
underneath that.
Yeah.
And all this was going on.
Yeah. Unbeknownst to you in a way.
No, but they were wild and they were incredible. And I'd go on and do my thing and just have an amazing time, get home, open the papers and find, hey, that festival was raided by the police at 4 or 5 in the morning.
See you later. I'm out.
But it never stopped them.
Wow.
It never stopped them, They were just wild and incredible and so much fun.
Did you indulge in drugs?
I've never indulged in drugs. I've never touched drugs in my life. I've never drunk alcohol in my life.
I just don't doubt that for
I
a
know,
minute.
and I've never smoked in my life. But there's another reason behind that, because I grew up in a family of alcoholics, and for me personally, I saw the destruction that it caused, and I thought, I don't really want that for me. Yeah, I have tasted alcohol. I've tasted a bit of wine, brandy, whatever, but it's just not my scene.
Life for you.
Yeah, it's not for me.
But yeah, I can imagine when you've got yourself a mission of what you want to do.
Yeah.
I often think about this. It's like, and fair play to anybody that does or doesn't do their thing, but some people don't have that guidance of a thing.
Yeah, and everybody's life is different, and some people just can't cope with the realities of life that they think by numbing it with whatever will make them feel better, and I'm not here to judge anyone. No. And I just wish them all, and just, hope they'll make better choices for themselves
For the future.
for the future, because, you know, they have consequences.
Do you think that's a role? Because Rosalla's definitely the kind of person that you could approach at any point, at any given time.
Always.
You know,
Always.
and that, I think, is what heralds you the queen of rave, the queen of the genre, because when you're speaking on behalf of a genre or a culture, that yields a lot of weight, you know. And it's not the kind of thing you just purposefully go and do. You've got to really be that way inclined.
Yeah.
That's what kind of makes you what you are, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You got to have had some of that experience or lived it to know that the story you can tell is truth. You know, it's a reality, and you haven't just read it from a book and made up the story. You know, I have seen it. I have lived it. You know, sadly, 2 of my brothers passed away due to alcohol.
Oh, rest
you
in
know,
peace,
yeah. And it was just frightening. And they just, that is what they chose.
Does that put pressure on your career path, so far as, obviously from an emotional standpoint, but were there moments where you felt a sense of obligation or knowing that you had the strength to kind of pass knowledge, help, guide, and did that ever become a burden for you?
No, it gave me a strength actually to, you know, to, like you're asking me now, I'm telling the truth. I think choosing that path, you know, will, you know, not give you the positive answers you want. You know, seriously, but, you know, again, like I say, I'm not judging anyone, each to their own, and I wish those people well, but I've lived in my own immediate family to see the utter destruction that it caused in the home for my brothers, you know, losing their lives because of alcohol and drugs, you know. Fortunately, 2 of them are alive, and they are recovering alcoholics.
Wow,
You know,
so it really did. It was
oh my
all
God!
over the family.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And recovering. One of them both of them are recovering alcoholics. One of them also was mixing up drugs, and they go to AA religiously. And I watch them.
Oh, you must be so proud.
I'm so proud of them, and I watch them, and I think, wow. And like, you know, one of my brothers, he lives here, the other one lives in Zimbabwe, and he came to spend 4 months with me last year, and he's been 10 or 11 years sober. So we went out shopping, and he takes this ready-made ham, you know, from the freezer, or rather I took it, and he's reading the back. And I'm going, come on, the writing is so small. What?
Put the glasses down.
Yeah, put the glasses down. Just put in your sandwich and be fine.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, no, I can't have that. Why? He says, because it's got alcohol in it.
What?
Exactly. Exactly.
Wow.
That threw me. It threw me. So read what's in your food.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. And I'm like, wow. But, you know, there must be a tiny dot. It's like, that could set me off.
Yeah. It's just that little trigger.
Just that little trigger.
You'd be that secret lemonade drinker going down the stairs, getting the ham out the fridge.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Don't
If you
drink
know,
that
you know.
lemonade.
Yeah.
Yeah, that lemonade might have, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, things like that. So
Wow. Isn't that something?
yeah, that threw me. That threw me.
The reign on Rave of its time, I mean, this went through the lion's share of the 90s into the noughties. And you were on top form, not to say you ain't now, but you were definitely, you know, it was part of the landscape, to the point that criminal justice bill had to be issued to stop you lot from doing what you were doing.
Exactly. Hey, we were big.
Yeah, you went big, or you go big or go home.
Yeah.
How did those instances like that impact your career? Because from what I'm gathering here, there's 2 parallel roads. There's the illegality for free, knowing full well that it's to replenish the audience and and then there's the record industry that, you know, are turning a slight blind eye but keep on going. You know,
Totally.
2 different worlds.
Yeah.
Like, how did you operate within those 2 lanes?
I just wanted a career, and you know, unashamedly, I made both sides work for me.
Crazy.
Because if I wasn't, and I was going to choose one or the other and not the 2, because the 2 at the time worked together in some crazy kind of way, you know, and I just infused the two together, did the illegal rave scenes, loved it, whatever was going on behind the scenes. I was just a singer, came to give the entertainment, you know, did my thing, and I left.
Yeah. Simples.
You know. I wasn't ever thinking, no, I'm not going to do that because all that other stuff is going on, you know.
Was the risk factor a bit?
It
of a
was
kick?
exciting, I won't lie. You know, I mean, I was so much younger then. We're talking over 35 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, and also there's a thing of, I was so hungry to make it in this industry. And in my mind, and probably till today, I'm still thinking, you know, I'm so hungry to be a singer and to do what I came to this country to do. I was like this. My blinkers were on.
Yeah. But that can be for any migrants, expats, people that...
Right, when you want it.
You go for it.
Yeah, when you're hungry for it, when you want it, your blinkers are on.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking, just make sure I am not, you know, stepping over anybody and hurting them deliberately or whatever, you know, and that's the path I was on.
Risk yields reward.
Yeah. Good risk.
A lot of stakes.
Yeah.
Which were high.
Yeah.
You know, from the moment you came over.
Yeah.
It was all or nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not
Absolutely.
enough artists out there that really think that way.
Yeah.
Not that make it to the level of success that you have.
Yeah, they want it quickly.
Yeah.
You know, the X Factor contestants, you win that show and the biggest thing there ever has been. But then behind all that, where's the value?
Yeah.
You know, where's your service to having served the apprenticeship, to learn all these things, to get an education, to be where you are. It's like I think to myself, if you give someone money that you've earned, you know, and you give it to them, I don't think they truly appreciate the value.
No.
Of that hard work that you put in.
Yeah.
And they'll spend it. It's easy.
Yeah.
They didn't earn it,
Yeah,
you know. So I've worked. I continue to work hard. And fortunately, I love what I do. You know, in the last, I don't know, 10 years maybe, apart from when we had the awful stuff that happened, COVID, I've been working regularly every weekend, every week. I've just released a new album.
Fantastic. Name of the album, please.
Turn on the light.
Turn on the
light. And
Big
we
dub.
released it this year. And we've just
Fantastic.
released a new single, which, you know, thank God went to number 5 in the commercial club charts in Music Week.
Celebrate that. That's amazing. Right, okay. So wait. No,
Stop.
Right.
Woo!
So, just to pull up a little bit here, because I'm going to create a scenario. Okay, after all the, you know, all the leaps and bounds, all the risk taking, all the illegal to illegal, it got you throughout the 90s to, as you mentioned, you know, Britain's Got Talent and the pop idols of the world of their time. There's something really poetic when you see Rozalla on a TV show with someone like Simon Cowell or something, because that's people power, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because they wouldn't have probably given you even a second, you know, Rave wouldn't even be on their sphere. They'd probably see it as a hindrance, you know, they're busy with the Spice Girls or something.
Yeah.
But there's something about that legacy, or at least that work ethic of legacy, that puts Rozalla in such unknowing places.
Yeah.
And you're like, I watch you and I'm like, man, my girl's like, she it's almost like, again, the people's person, she's going for it with it.
Yeah.
And somehow you infiltrated.
I'm the infiltrator.
On a real though, you know,
Yeah.
with all due respect,
Yeah.
because of course, quality and skills, that's what's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
But there is something extremely poetic about that.
Yeah. Totally. It is just a reality, you know, and hand on my heart, I can feel proud of myself, whatever happens, that, you know, my hunger to be a singer, that's all I ever wanted. And everything else that's come along with it, you know, is gravy. And I've just continued walking and doing my best.
At that time, because there was this shift, and I think a lot of it came with technology, to be fair, there was a lot of Well, genres just moved. The times just moved.
Times just moved.
So what happened? What happened in that interim? Because nowadays with rave, it's looked on fondly to the people of that my age.
Yeah.
But also there's a younger audience. But what happened? What happened in that time where it wasn't so prevalent and it wasn't so, you know, America had kind of taken the airwaves with hip hop and stuff.
Yeah, for me, I think it was the mid-90s. That's when the boy bands and the girl bands started having their time. And like I said earlier, I was lucky if I got to do one club date in a period of 2 or 3 months, and that's coming from doing 5 to 7 club dates per week. And keeping in mind that's how I earned my living, so it was scary. But then I met my husband, so, you know, that all happened. The rave scene died, everything died, and that is what was going on. I took up a beauty therapy course because I'm thinking I got to keep earning a living. Fortunately, I had people around me saying, listen, it's just a fashion, it will come back, just keep riding.
It's true, man.
Yeah, just keep riding the wave, and, you know, whatever club date came, even if it was performing at a wedding or a, you know, 16th birthday party, I took it.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, because I wanted to keep singing and doing this, and I just kept on that path and, you know, worked as a beauty therapist, you know, part-time just in case. And then this thing started emerging, love the 90s. Back to the 90s. Give me the 90s. I mean, fast forward to now, it is massive.
I've got a friend who tour manages MC Ice 3. Is it Ice?
Yeah, I think I know him. We do quite a few Spanish love the 90s.
Yeah, he's going to Jamaica next week. Like this, it's gone huge.
It's humongous. I mean, this week I'm in Tenerife doing the Love the 90s, and they've been booking me for the past, when it's begun 8-10 years ago, to an audience of about 5,000 people, which I thought was wow.
Wow, yeah.
Now, I kid you not, they are doing anywhere between 15 to 25,000 people. They sell out.
Wow.
It is mind-boggling. And they've booked me up until next year, October 2025.
Stop it.
Yeah.
And this is global. This is
just incredible.
Because you were away before. We went to do this the other week, and you were like, no, I've got. Where are you going?
Exactly. Well, I tell you what happened to that one. I was due to go to America.
That's right.
You know, to do, again, America. I haven't been to America to do these 90s things, so that seems to be, you know, starting to pick up there. So me and my guys who had hits in the early nights are going, we're going to be working for a long time, hopefully, you know. So we're all thinking like, let's, you know, start saving for plastic surgery just in case.
Yeah,
because when you turn 70, 80, 90...
Leave the visas for later. Let's just get this thing
exactly,
patterned up.
you know, but unfortunately that didn't happen. So, but it's picking up there as well.
It's a signal, isn't it?
It's a signal.
Of the times and what's really going on.
Yeah.
And you know what I think some of it as well is, Rozalla, I think some of it is trust. Because there's some, like, a DJ and a lot of rock and roll and metal and things like that. And young people, they, without sounding condescending, they don't look at genres in the same way maybe we did.
Yeah.
I'll get requests for Status Quo in the same breath, can we have some Slipknot? Like, there is really no boundaries of what this is. So young people are really taking this on as like a place of trust, because now in technology, you know, what do you really trust? What's really honest? And I think it's the time periods become the trustworthy thing.
Absolutely, because the time period is, it's like it's a library. Yeah. It's there. It's there forever. You know, you can go back and check it out, and it's there. It's real. It's happened. You know, what more? What more can you say?
Okay, so let's take it back there. So very quickly, because I'm thinking, you know, Rat Pack, DJ Sy, Mickey Finn. I'm thinking all these OGs. Did you used to jump up with them and just chuck the instrumental on? Let's just get this going. Did you? Really?
Absolutely. The Rat Pack. That's who's that? I forget the name. Mark and he's got a strange name. It makes me laugh. They make me laugh so much. I've done a few gigs with them, and funnily enough, when I do gigs with the Rat Pack, it actually takes me back to the rave scene, because they're doing the real underground club scenes. You know, and so it's strange for me because now I'm doing festivals and it's a totally different light. Yeah. You know, so when I do gigs with the Rat Pack, it takes me sort of back into the early 90s because it's really underground, hardcore, you know, and everybody's free to feel good. And yeah, those guys, I've been good friends with them for years.
Yeah, yeah.
Top guys.
I don't doubt
top
that for a
guys.
second.
Yeah.
And so what happens? And so, all right, boys, quick it. Here's the CD. Let me know when you want me to come on. That kind of vibe.
Yes.
Please tell me. Well, that's amazing. So they must be in the back of their head, or anybody was like, yeah, Rozalla's here, wicked. Just put that CD on. Let's absolutely have it.
Exactly.
We've got this one.
I did a couple of gigs with them early this year. It was sort of like that, and like, oh, it's just Mark is just hysterical. I can't remember the other guy's name for the life of me. He cracks me up. But top guys, really
amazing.
Top guys.
Alternate. That was another one.
Yeah,
Alternate.
yeah.
Was there moments within that time period, like, you know, Prodigy drop Experience or something, and that you felt a shift of attention even more? Was it like an organism that was, you know, you felt the tremors?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the Prodigy at the time was signed to the same agency that was looking after me back in the early 90s. And, you know, Everybody's Free, I think, was big before they came out, and then they were not long after that, you know, Firestarter. And I just like, wow! So it sort of elevated things even more because they came from my world, my type of music. It was all in that family. Yeah. You know, and yeah, it was fantastic.
Tape packs were a really big thing back then. All my friends back in the day used to have the mini metros and used to be driving around with these tape packs.
Yeah.
Was that a fraught experience for you? Because obviously the duplicating and repackaging, repurposing of the music at the time, that was kind of like your internet. That was your message. But did you ever shy away from that sort of thing, or were you embracing that as well?
I embraced that because, you know, the way I saw it, it was an honor. Yeah. You know, that someone's trying to, you know, do all that and copy you, I suppose, and keep things, I don't know, bigger, or make you bigger than what you were at the time.
I find it so interesting.
Yeah.
It was its own ecosystem.
Yeah, absolutely.
What ingenuity.
Yeah.
The human spirit.
The human spirit. It's just, you know, it's like a microorganism, just, you know, spreading out and creating more and more things.
Only Britain could do things like that, right?
Exactly.
But it goes back to the sound system culture, right? Of
Yeah.
just, you know, get up, plug in, go.
Yeah.
And the rest of the world kind of followed suit. The European house music was distinctively different compared to the kind of house music, you know, the hardcore that we were all into. And then came jungle and drum and bass.
Yeah.
What was the impact that jungle and drum and bass had? I mean, it was significant.
Oh man,
right?
For me it was obviously totally different to where I was coming from. You know, it had its own moment, and I remember my agents at the time wrongfully put me to perform in a nightclub that was just playing drum and bass. I went down like a lead balloon.
Really?
It wasn't...
Really?
Yeah, because it was so hardcore for me going out there and then singing Everybody's Free to Feel Good. You know, there were the Rozalla fans that loved it and the ones that just wanted to hear the hardcore drum and bass, because drum and bass is hardcore. You know, it's got its own platform and it's brilliant for that. But that's what I remember. That's what I took away from that. I'm like, right, okay. Not for me in those clubs again, you know. I think I'm more in like the house music style.
Yeah, and that's crazy how they coexist for
They
coexisted for a
did
while.
coexist for a while, but you know, I think I was just booked in the wrong, really, really hardcore drum and bass gig at the time. But yeah,
a lot of different behaviours,
Yeah,
things like that.
yeah.
Especially in clubland.
Exactly.
Is there anything that you connect with now where you just say, oh, you know, this happened before, but not like this? Like,
Yeah.
there must be a lot of that, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know, I did a gig where they tried to recreate a rave scene, just a small one, about 2-3 weeks ago. I went with my husband, and it was just all mishmash.
Mm-hmm.
And in a way, it took me back to the early 90s. I couldn't stop laughing. I'm like, this is just like what happened. You know, we're all just been shoved aside, and you're going to do your gig now, and, you know, come off there, and we're all backstage, and you can, you know, smell some spliff going on.
Yeah.
I was like,
The usual shenanigans.
Right, the usual shenanigans. Yeah, I think I did it earlier this year in January. I can't remember where, in Brixton. And I loved it. It was just fun. It was just...
It's just to hang out.
It was just to hang out. It was fun, and I did my thing, and mind you...
Did you sing?
I sang. Mind you, Rat Pack were there as well. So they were playing a mix of hardcore drum and bass, and I did go down, but I think to myself, maybe I went down because in Everybody's Free to Feel Good is so many years old. The audience knew it, and they're like, yeah, she's here, you know.
I was going to say, like, I would find it quite hard to be Rozalla, like, knowing that, you know, you walk into those kind of places, it's like you say, it's like it's like C-3PO going into the Ewok village, right?
Right, yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. It was amazing. It was amazing.
Does it ever get, on retrospect, do you ever sit back and think to yourself, I could have done that a little bit better, or had I not have done that, I could have done that?
Yeah.
Is there anything that you think?
You know, in the early days I used to, but now the way I look at it, and I think, you know what, it's performance. You go out there and you try to be as perfect as you possibly can be, but there's no such thing as perfectionism, you know. If you start thinking that way, you'll get, personally for me, into trouble. So I go out there, I do my thing. Sometimes, you know, my voice croaks or cracks because I haven't warmed up properly or for whatever reason. And I used to come on stage thinking, you know, because as a singer, when your voice croaks, it's like glass is cracking in your head. And it sounds so bad in your head. And then your other friends are going, oh, I didn't hear that. That's performance. That's what performance is all about.
It in a minute.
Yeah, just it's performance. It's all part of it. You know, just it. I'm like, oh, okay. It's performance.
Yeah.
So if I croak and I'm out there doing my thing, as long as I'm enjoying it, which 100% of the times I am, fortunately, it is what it is. And I've done that gig. Leave it there, enjoy it, and it's on to the next.
Is it all brand? You know, the performance of a lifetime. Do you know what I mean?
Is
like,
it what? Is it?
It's performance of a lifetime.
Absolutely.
It's like when your status... When your status is of a place where you are readily seen, and you know, you have to think about your whole career as one big, based on status, a performance, and a brand.
Absolutely, absolutely. My sister said to me, "Do you know that you're a brand? The name is Rozalla Inc. You're a business." I never thought about that, you know, but I always think of myself as just a singer and somebody who just wants to go out there and sing. And all these gigs that I get, you know, because of that song and the other songs, is such an opportunity that I look at, that I'm so eternally grateful for. So, you know, for as long as they want me out there, as long as I keep loving doing what I do, I'm going to go out there and just give my best and enjoy myself and wear those skin-tight, shiny outfits.
Yeah. Yes, which we all love. The interesting part about all of this is that, you know, throughout to 2020, wherever you're watching this, we'll say 2024, the behaviour of the public is different. Like, if I had half the social media that they had when I was 14, 15, and I wanted to watch Slash, or I wanted to watch Ice Cube, I want to know what they're having for breakfast. And that's kind of it now. That it's almost like an over-familiarity when you meet these fans.
You know them, and you know more about them than they probably want you to know. But that's social media. That's the world we're living in.
Yeah. How does that sit with you?
I don't like it.
No.
If I'm honest.
Privacy?
Yeah, my privacy is everything. You know, there was some two guys from Zimbabwe, which they flattered me immensely, wanted to do a documentary on me, you know, because like, you got a story to tell, Rozalla, blah, blah, blah. And I'm going, what's going to happen? Because obviously I'm flattered they want to do a documentary on me, so they think there's a story to tell. But they're like, well, we'll be following you everywhere with camera. And I didn't like that. I didn't like that. And I didn't know how to say no to them, you know, because they were going to be funded by the British embassy or something like that in Zimbabwe. And But yeah, it didn't sit well with me. It's not what I like. I mean, even on my social media, you know, I do my own Instagram and Facebook and X. I prefer Instagram the most. I run that by myself. It's very, very rare I put personal stuff on there. Occasionally I have done to wish loved ones happy birthday or, you know, happy anniversary to my husband of, 27 years. But it's mostly just promoting my music, myself, and, my new single that's out there, or my album. And I try to not do too many personal things. It's just, for me personally, it's not what I want.
Dilutes it, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. For me personally, I do.
Yeah, it does. No, I feel you. And it's a kind of like going along to get along thing. Which we do the complete opposites, you know, and maybe that mystique.
Exactly. How much of yourself personally do you want to have out there? Yeah. You know, what time you wake up in the morning, what do you eat for breakfast? I'm like, nah, that's me.
Yeah, I see these Steve McQueen photos of like back in the day and him, you know, brushing his teeth and so, you know, of course a lot of it's staged and such, but even for that time there was this hunger for...
Yeah. And I'll be honest with you, I am guilty of enjoying watching other stars or personalities putting up their personal stuff. I'm guilty of it, and I watch it, you know.
Get the popcorn out.
Get the popcorn out, and let's see what time you wake up, what are you wearing, they put it themselves out there, so I'm just, the watcher.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a funny time. Yeah. And for the new album, like what's your expectations so far as you'll always have the hits.
Yeah.
Now, if you're putting out an album, do you measure it on previous successes, or do you measure, or do you look at it as like one big catalogue that highlights significant moments in your career and life?
That's exactly how I look at it. That's wonderful to put it. I look at it as a different catalogue of music that I've got in my life. My husband he always says to me, you've got a wonderful selection of music, different categories, different library of music. If I compared this album to Everybody's Free to Feel Good, to having that kind of success, I'm afraid that's not the world we live in.
No.
I wish it was, but it isn't.
Yeah.
I would love to have another big hit single like Everybody's Free to Feel Good. What artist wouldn't?
Of course.
But the reality is, it isn't, it's not. Like I said earlier, I released a single with DJ Carl Nicholson called You and I. Went to number 5 in the commercial club charts in Music Week.
So good.
That was incredible. I don't know when last I had a hit that was, recognized in that regard. So fantastic.
And it feeds itself as well, because then it feeds the live stuff. And just those nuggets, that little one flame matches the other flames, and then you get yourself the more gigs that, and it's...
Exactly. And my style of music now isn't Everybody's Free to Feel Good. It's changed. I've matured. I am, now the 60-year-old woman,
But do enough people, are enough people honest with themselves, around your young age of, of music, and knowing that you had and still continue to have hits? Number 5 in the charts isn't anything to be sniffed at. But did you think there is this, delusion for some people that, and they live off this one thing forever, and it can be...
Absolutely. And
it holds them back.
Yeah, and it's a little bit of a prison, and I went through that earlier on in the 90s, wanting to recreate another hit single like Everybody's Free. It just wasn't happening. The songs are doing well in the underground club scenes, or, entering some, hits and charts or whatever. But I came to a point where I just thought, what, music is music, and my life is moving on, and my music style has changed. I still have the dance music out there that's on this album, as well as mid-tempo tracks. And, I mean, I've covered some songs on this album that were done in the 70s.
Crazy good.
Nice. That there's a band called Player, and they did a track, Baby Come Back, you can na-na-na-na-na, I was wrong, and I just can't live without you. Baby, come back. Anyway.
Woo! Stop it. You're going to make me blush.
I covered that track. You know, that's on the album. That's a very unlike Rozalla, Everybody's Free to Feel Good type of song to do. I did another one called, which was covered by Barbra Streisand. And exactly, and Natalie Cole called Someone That I Used to Love. Completely down ballad.
That's good.
Yeah, and so that's what I wanted to do with this album. So I like when you say it's my library of music. When you look at the years of me having had the opportunity to release material, this is where I am. You know, and yeah, it's an exciting journey.
So good.
Yeah.
Industrial question here. So everybody's free, ready to fly. All these songs that we hear on the radios now, you know, Greatest Hits or Heart or Capital, and you know these. So, and this isn't getting too personal. You tell me to shut up. In fact, just don't answer. But they're structured in a way that comparable to now with the way music contracts and the industry works, are seismically different, and of course there's benefits and perks from either side. But when as an artist as established as you are, and you're seeing the residuals from something of that period, does that hold weight in a sense that, oh man, like my song is still getting played? Is the contract and the way that was structured, does that still benefit somebody, you know, 30 years on in that way?
100%.
Does it?
Absolutely.
I always wanted to ask that to somebody because
absolutely. I mean, you know, Everybody's Free to Feel Good was written by Tim and Nigel, so they benefit more than I do.
Yeah.
They were the songwriters. And the way it was done then, my ex-manager says to me, oh, they should have got you something. They should have put you, you know, get you whatever. But it's how things were done then, you know, and I was this girl, if you wish, a little bit wet behind the ears. But Tim and Nigel are top guys, wonderful human beings. And years later, we were done wrong by this record label. And we went back into the studio and re-recorded our 3 big hits, Everybody's Free to Feel Good, Ready to Fly, and Faith.
Repurposed them. Boom.
We did that, and now we split it equally.
That's amazing.
They've been so generous to do that.
Yeah.
You know, and so, for instance, with, you know, if a TV show wants to use any of those songs, they write to our, you know, publishers, and they ask us, you know, Rozalla, Tim and Nigel, this company or, you know, movie want to use your track. Do you like it? You know, there was one that I think it was a window company.
Really?
And I'm like, yeah, because I'm just looking at the money. And Tim and Nigel are like, no, they can't. It's for a window, you know, things like that. Just an example.
Because it's all on TV commercials.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
And there was one actually called the Cravendale Milk.
That's it.
Ad. So they asked our publishers, you know, we'd love to use Everybody's Free to Feel Good. And I thought, you know, it was so funny because you had all these milk farmers singing Everybody's Free to Feel Good.
Yeah.
So funny. It cracked me up. It cracked me up. And then at the end, they used my original vocal to end the advert.
Incredible.
And I loved it. And Tim and Nigel were like, no, it's naff. And I'm like, guys, it's fun because it's things like this that continue to keep our song's profile out there.
You don't realise it, yeah.
You know, and then Tim and Nigel were like, yeah, okay, you're right. And so we're like, yeah, do it. And every time things like that happen, you put on the radio and the DJ's like, hey, did you see that ad, the Cravendale ad?
Yeah.
You know, now let's play the original.
But what's it like for you? So you're sitting at home, you're having your dinner, I don't know, maybe Emmerdale's on or something, because that's normally the time in which those sorts of commercials happen. Right?
Yeah.
First thing in the morning, and not many people are up doing whatever's in the morning. But you're sitting there and your song comes on. It's just used to it. You're just like, yes.
Never.
Really?
No,
gets you.
It freaks me out. I did a gig on this Saturday, and my husband and I were driving to this gig in Chichester, actually, and we were listening to this big station, BBC Radio 2, and at peak hour, and then I can't remember the DJ's name, and then this lady called in, and she's like, yeah, I want to hear the song "Everybody's Free to Feel Good" by Rozalla. I started having an out-of-body experience because I thought my husband changed his voice
Really?
to sound like a woman.
That's
and he's
too
saying, I want to hear the song by Rozalla. And I'm like, so for a split second, I thought, what's Alan doing, And then we both looked at each other and looked at the radio and went, ah!
Wow.
And it's like, the DJ's like, I love that song. I remember when I went out and I bought it on vinyl, and then on cassette, and now it's on, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, I'll play it for you, it's one of those songs, isn't it? And he played Everybody's Free to Feel Good. Honestly, I just, every time, Kels, it's never, ever something that'll be lost on me. It is, that honestly makes the hairs on my back stand.
Of course. Because it's the element of surprise as well.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was shocking, yeah.
I just
Yeah.
this is a celebration, you see. This is what this podcast is really all about. When you celebrate the times of somebody that genuinely loves their art.
Absolutely, passionately, absolutely. I am eternally grateful. Like I said, here I am, this young girl, now a grown woman in the UK, came to England specifically just to be an international singer. And, the way everything has worked, my life is now lived here. I'm married to a British man. And everything's just fallen into place to the best of its ability. And, there's been some bumps along the way, but that's life. And, there's times when, you just want to close the world and not come out. But there's something I read the other day that just said, let's just keep going to see where we get to. And I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Nothing to complain about and everything to look forward to, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I love that.
Yeah.
And The Future's the album, so that's out now. So if you want to go cop that, have a listen.
Please.
That's what
please.
we do.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing. Rozalla, it's been an absolute pleasure.
It's been a joy. And can I say, he has not aged. He's frozen in time.
Likewise
my
to you,
handsome
lady.
young man. Thank you.
Bless
Thank
you, darling.
Thank you.
The Street Culture Podcast, Killa Kela. Thank you for joining us. Rozalla tells you all right. You stay lucky. See you very soon. Easy.